Salutations, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. V back with another casted game of Age of Empires 3, and every once in a while, you get a game that just makes you scratch your head. We have an ultimate David and Goliath story here today, folks, but let me introduce the players, and then you might see what I mean. On the western side of the map, playing in the color red as Mexico, we have Gideon, AI, who I think this is his debut on the channel. Super happy to be featuring his gameplay and going to be getting his herd, collecting his coin, leaving both wood crates on the floor, and might be going up north for some of these juicy treasures. We have 120 XP here. We have 90 food over here. And we have 85 wood over here. So this northern side of the map, very, very rich in very, very lucrative treasures. And meanwhile, his opponent on the eastern half of the map, playing in the color blue as the Germans, good old Germany, we have Chef, who has been featured multiple times on the channel. Always love watching this guy play. Used to seeing him play Portugal, but no Portuguese today. Going with Germany, still a legacy civ, but not his usual classic. Going with the market start, going to be getting hunting dogs and very standard German deck. Very, very heavy on the units in Age 3, even as the 7 skirm shipment. I think the only one that's a little bit weird is the Prince Electors. Ships 1 royal embassy wagon in which you may choose a German royal house. Okay, we'll have to see if that comes into play, or if he just plays a very, very standard Age 3 Germany. You know, lots of Ulans, lots of skirms, lots of war wagons, picking up 90 wood, going to be excellent for getting those market upgrades, or possibly a TP in transition, which we do know that Germany likes to do, sending 2 settler wagons. And now let me explain why this matchup is a bit lopsided. And I don't mean the player lopsided. I mean, it's actually weighted in one player's favor quite heavily, because when you look at Chef actually has multiple accounts like a lot of top players do. I think he has one account that's in like the top 20, but his other account is actually number 6 as of this recording. So one of the best players in the community and consistently in the top 10 or at least the top 20, okay? 2 accounts in the top 20, that is no small feat, okay? Very, very high level. And then meanwhile, you got Gideon. Now, Gideon is not a bad player by any stretch. However, he is not in the top 20, not in the top 50, not in the top 100. He's not even in the top 200. This guy is currently ranked, as of this recording, 231st on the ladder, which means that we have a gap of about 225 slots between these two players. I don't know why the ladder does this. I don't know why the matchmaking just tends to be so weird in this game. But I kind of love it, and I kind of don't want it to change. So it is definitely an underdog story here for Gideon. I have not watched this recording. Maybe he'll pull one out. Okay, Mexico can do some really, really weird stuff that legacy players tend not to react to super well. So if he comes with the flavor, he might just beat Chef's Germany. So let's see what they're doing. Both going up to Age 2, it looks like, and Gideon is certainly going up ahead of Chef, saving his first shipment, which already makes me a little bit suspicious about what he's going to do. Meanwhile, Chef playing very standard, getting his market upgrades, getting a TP in transition, and getting a lot of villagers on wood, getting his second herd in. All good high-level play stuff. Nothing out of the ordinary here from Chef, which Chef's not really known for being a guy that pulls out a lot of random strats. He's pretty meta in his gameplay. Gideon picking up 80 XP here. And again, Gideon is going to have to bring something really, really unique, because if he relies on his micro and his macro, I don't think he will hold a candle to Chef. But is now aged up, putting down the Cantina El Nivel. So we are going to see outlaw play. 2 shipments already saved up. Come on, man, show me that deck. I'm watering at the mouth. Show me the deck. Show me the deck. Oh, man, he's teasing me. Gideon's teasing me. Meanwhile, Chef going for, what was that, the 80 wood? The 85 wood? I can't see it. Oh, yeah, 85 wood. Very, very nice. Both players collecting some meaty treasures here. And again, Chef just doing nothing surprising. Good old Chef. And we might have a treasure steal here. The bear just about to go down. And are they going to pick it up? Ooh, okay. Chef getting down to the ground just in time. There was definitely a point where Gideon could have stolen that, but might be able to pick off Chef. Chef using the pull trick, getting his Explorer out of there as quickly as possible with the 85 wood. And there comes the revolt from Gideon. So just like I said, there is going to be some flavorful play here from Mexico. Now gets filibusters. These guys are heavy infantry. They do have the dynamite, so they have a lot of siege attack. And going to be actually pretty difficult for Age 2 Germany to deal with. If Germany has any Achilles heel, it is their Age 2 play. They just don't have a very wieldy composition, right? You got to make things like crossbows, and you got to try to use doppelsodners and unupgraded Uhlans and maybe pikemen. It's just not a great comp, right? It's not like it's a Brit where all of your good units cost, food and wood, and then maybe you add in Hussars later. But oh my God, look at these filibusters. That is such a loud sound. And he's putting down the frontier post wagon, so he immediately wants to assume map control. These Ulan's going to try to pick off this TP. I don't think that's going to work for him. And what is he sending? Yeah, he immediately sent the factory. What else? Sent the privateer. No, not the privateers. What am I thinking? This is not a water deck. I'm an idiot. Sends the coach guns, which gives him outlaws and gives his trading post a little more defense. And he's making, cuatreros, which are an anti-cav, which actually have the lasso effect, so they'll actually slow any units that they attack. And so we'll see what he'll use those for. Maybe try to take down the Uhlans that he knows is going to come out from Chef. But look at Chef. He's kind of on the back foot here. He doesn't know how to respond. He sent 700 wood. He's slamming down barracks as like a madman. He wants to make sure he can, get down a defense as quickly as possible. Did he send 700 wood? Yes, he did. So he went 3 settler wagons, 700 wood. He does have 8 crossbow, 3 dops, and 5 Uhlan. But against filibusters and dragoons, I don't know if that's actually going to be that effective. There they are, the cuatreros. They are roaming the map, and if they can catch the Uhlans and slow them with that lasso attack, he could get a lot of great value. Double crossbow production coming from Chef. And, hats off to Chef. He has responded very quickly. 2 barracks and a stable immediately going down. But it is going to slow his economy. He has lost the trading post. No second trading post going to be coming, which you usually see from that 700 wood. And, he's going to have to play on the back foot here, but Chef might just be able to use that skill gap. Again, there are over 200 players in between these two. So if Gideon can pull this off, I am going to be ecstatic. What is he sending now? He's sending Team Trickle Economics, which is going to make his trade routes even more efficient. It's going to up the wood, food, and coin they get by 60%. That is ridiculous. And he does now have the factory now, although no villagers. So if he continues to play this game and he prolongs it too long, and Chef is able to get up to Age 3, this build is going to look pretty foolish. He's even got some banditos. What do these guys even do? Okay, they're ranged infantry, basically skirms. Wow, I got to know my outlaws better. I do not know Mexico, man. They are a civ that is a mystery to me. But I have seen this build before, and it can be very annoying, especially when these guys catch you with that lasso. What is Gideon sending now? 3 post wagons. And the army from Chef has grown quite substantially. He's got a good number of crossbows out. Has he sent 8 crossbow? He has. And he's been producing from 2 barracks as well. The flag goes down from Mexico. A nice move there from Gideon. Let's see if he takes that engagement. The filibusters don't want to get too close. There's enough expos here that even though they're not a great ranged unit, they can just mass and take out those filibusters pretty effectively. A lot of Uhlans here, but I don't think they'll be able to move in as long as Gideon controls these cuatreros somewhat well. Do have a couple banditos. Those will be fairly effective against the crossbows. You just got to break down this mass, right? If you can get the crossbows down to few enough numbers, they're so bad at kiting and they're so low on hit points that they're actually not too hard to take out. And look at that. You're just seeing how poor expos are. These are a campaign unit. They are not good in 1v1. Correct me if I'm wrong. I hate crossbows. I am anti-crossbow. Now bringing in some villagers here. Gonna lose a couple. Uhlan's trying to get in, but those cuatreros are doing so much damage being hidden by the trees, but I see the plus 15s just shooting up. Most of the filibusters being taken out by the crossbows, but you also have to remember that every time these outlaws kill a unit, they get some of that coin back. 5 Ulans coming in, but there are still enough Quateros here where they might just go down immediately. Still double crossbow. Let's see what Gideon is sending. What has he sent? He sent the factory, the foreign investment. He sent the coach guns. Annexation. If you control a trading post majority, this card can be sent and begins a trade monopoly victory? Is he going for trade monopoly against the 6th best player on the ranked ladder? There's no way. What am I even watching? What are you watching? Stagecoach upgrade now coming in. Gonna be able to get a lot of resources here. Another shipment. Is he gonna send it? He is now sending it. So this will trigger the trade monopoly victory, and Chef actually doesn't have a lot of siege potential in this army. These Expos have very low siege attack, and the Ulans do not have much better. So maybe he can pull off this W. I really hope he does. I love watching Chef play, but I am rooting for Gideon 100%. I am playing favorites. It is guaranteed. Walker's gang now coming in. 7 random outlaws going to be coming out of that tavern. Meanwhile, the factory just doing work. The fact that Mexico gets access to a building like a factory this early, so good. Out come the random bandits, and we got the owl hoots, ladies and gentlemen. Strong against heavy infantry. This is a light infantry, so they will do well against the crossbows. Meanwhile, gunslingers are your heavy infantry variant, which will do well against the Ulans. And again, we're just kind of seeing the weakness of Germany here. They don't have a very easily, makeable H2 mass, right? You got to switch to wood, and then you got to make Ulans, which cost a lot of coin, and Doppelsodners, which also cost coin, but you need wood to get Expos and Pikes out. It's just not super convenient for the German player. It's why they want to get to H3 so quickly, but Chef knows that he can't try to get to H3 now. He's got to try to take out some of these trading posts. Maybe he knows that the trade monopoly is an option for Gideon, and maybe that's what he's trying to prevent, excuse me. But what are we seeing from Gideon here? More Quateros coming out. These guys cost 130 coin, and there it is, Cerro de Mercado, 350 coin. That is going to be very, very good. He does have no villagers, so he needs to keep that coin income. He's got all 3 of his trading posts on coin right now. And I want to see how much these actually give him, because he did send that upgrade for the trading posts. How much coin is he getting per pass? Oh, man, I don't want to miss this fight. Hold on. How much is he getting? Come on. Come on, trade cart. 112 coin. Oh, my gosh. That's so much coin. That's 300 coin every time it passes. Absolutely ridiculous, but we do have a fight here. The Quateros getting involved, though the crossbows will be able to take these guys out relatively quickly. They're not a very high hitch pay unit for cavalry, only 225. But now the filibusters and all the other assorted units coming in. The owl hoots, the dynamite now being laid. And look at how much coin he's getting. 8 coin for every crossbow he kills, 15 for every Ulan. Just raking in the resources here. Not using the lasso effect. He's able to keep up with the army without having to slow it down. And there's so few Ulans here now. These outlaws are a powerful unit, okay? You can't underestimate these guys. They're not as strong as like regular mercenaries that you would send, but there's still nothing to play around with. More Quateros coming out. And I think he's just going to use the superiority of the outlaws to these pretty poor crossbows. The Ulan numbers are basically non-existent now. Chef, again, double crossbow, but he can't get out enough Ulans. His economy is not strong enough. He's running out of food, and he's got a lot of coin, but, I mean, coin's not what he needs right now. He needs wood, and he needs food, and he simply can't get it. And now artillery has arrived for Gideon. Is he going to pull this off? Ladies and gentlemen, we might see the biggest upset ever on this channel. I'm rooting for you, Gideon. Come on, man. Siege down some of these houses. That's not a bad idea, but those artillery are very exposed. He's now got 3 culverins. 3 culverins against a civ that cannot currently make artillery. So I mean, hey, it's a unit, but man, it'd be so much better if these guys were falconets. 3 Doppelsodners coming out now. Not going to be exactly what Chef needs, but he doesn't really have a lot of options here. Let's take a look at his deck. Yeah, he sent all of his H2 cards except his cavalry attack, and he just doesn't have enough Ulans right now to justify sending those. The Ulan numbers are starting to grow, though, so maybe one of those upgrade cards would not be a bad shout. And he's just so low on food right now. He's got to go so far out. Look at how far out he has to go from his base to get access to these hunts. And can't fight on this north side, or excuse me, he can't gather on this north side. He's got a hunt here that he's had to abandon because that Mexican army can just keep poking in. And those culverins, even though they don't do a lot of damage, they could basically attack those villagers with impunity. But Germany now remassing. He does have 31 vills compared to the 0 of Gideon. Gideon does have the trading posts and a factory. So, I mean, what is a trading post like 4 villagers? And then a factory is 10 villagers. So that's, let's see, 10, 14, 18, 22 villagers for Mexico. And they're unrateable. It's actually more even than you might think, which is crazy. Oh man, DE civs, they're just insane. But now I think Chef is tired of being hemmed in. He's going to go on the offensive here. And there's a lot of cuatreros. Oh man, these outposts are doing so much damage. I forgot he sent that card as well, which makes these outposts just so scary. Culverin's getting off a big volley, which does almost nothing. Ulans, oh, they don't want to dive in here. They're going to go down so fast to this many cuatreros. Gideon, you've got to focus these Doppelsodners. Going down 20 coin for the Doppelsodners. Oh my gosh, what a bounty. And now the Falconets coming out of the outpost. The German army has been flanked and all of the cavalry is dead. These crossbows are completely exposed. It is going to be a massacre. Ladies and gentlemen, is Gideon going to do it? That German army is toast. And there's nothing he can do against these Falconets. He has no defense. And he is not even close to getting to the third age. Making more crossbows, and look at the coin Gideon is raking in from killing these units. Absolutely incredible. But Gideon deciding not to push in there, I think that's a smart move. I think he might want a little more anti-cav and maybe some infantry to back up this really weird army. He's got cuatreros, a couple of owl hoots, 3 culverins, and 2 falconets. Gonna want to protect those falconets with his life. Prince Elector's coming in, so the Royal Embassy wagon is going to be arriving for Germany. It's about the only thing he can send. Those upgrade cards might have been good, except all of his cav died. And what's happening now? Cuatrero's going on a bit of a raid. Ooh, if they see these villagers. That's the one advantage that Chef has right now, is that he has villagers and Gideon doesn't. But Gideon still has an economy. With 0 vills, he still has an economy. And I think he's up to 4 trading posts now. So tack on 4 more vills. Oh no, he still has 3. There are only 4 on this map. What am I thinking? Chef must have reclaimed this one. Has it on wood right now, which is going to allow him to keep up crossbow production, but eventually crossbows are just going to get bowled over. And what's coming in for Chef now? Annexation. Here comes the Monopoly victory, ladies and gentlemen. He pops it at just about the perfect time. There is still a batch of crossbows, but he has a mobile enough army that he'll be able to respond to any trouble spots. And now we see the engagement here. The cuatreros, they don't want to engage by themselves. They don't want to go it alone. That will be a horrible trade for them. He's got his explorer in there. Nice, going to be able to soak up some damage. Leonardo Magallanes? My Spanish is very terrible. All right, is the army moving in? I think it might be moving, ladies and gentlemen. Is he going to achieve the Monopoly victory? 4 minutes and 20 seconds. And even the trading post for the natives going to be shooting at these crossbows. Crossbows are in cover mode. Smart move by Chef. So Chef definitely not giving up here, right? He's making all of the right moves. He's doing everything a high-level player should do, except he's doing it against somebody that is not even in the top 200. Oh my gosh, matchmaking. I'm going to keep harping on it because that is absolutely incredible that we got this sort of matchup. But he's got to do something. He's letting it roll away. Going to the Fortress Age now. That is a really risky investment. He's now going to have access to things like war wagons and skirms and vet ulan, but are they going to come in time? Vet crossbowmen even coming in. So I think Chef's starting to get desperate. You would not pay for veteran crossbows unless you needed that upgrade immediately. you would wait to get skirms, but the pikemen are now on this trading post. Is he going to be able to kill it in time? No, they're focusing the pikemen. The cuatreros are driving off the crossbows, and the pikemen go away from the trading post. That's not what they want to do. That was his only hope, was to keep sieging it. More pikemen coming in. The trading post is at 868 HP, which is absolutely redonkulous. Oh my gosh, is he going to be able to hold this? If he kills these pikes, I think he will. These crossbowmen, even though they're now veterans, still have basically no siege attack. And against these cuatreros, they're still not trading very effectively. And look at these villagers. These villagers, they will soak up some damage, but once these crossbows are dead, they are all dead as well. Oh man, this is so crazy. This is so crazy. Gideon is gonna win this game, isn't he? There's no way Chef recovers, right? I mean, even if he sends a shipment, right? He's not going to get a trading post down in the next 2 minutes. And what does he send, right? Does he send skirmishers? They have very little siege. Uhlans, they'll go down to the cuatreros. He could try to send war wagons, but I don't think that'd be enough of a mass. And in comes the German army. This is the final hope for the German Empire. A few Uhlans and more veteran crossbows. While these falconets just kill a house for some reason. And a look at all these villagers going down. Germany now at 36 Vilpop. Gideon still at 0. He has not had a villager since like the 6-minute mark. Still collecting coin. These skirmishers would do really well against the cuatreros, but they're in too few numbers. Ulan's trying to take out that TP, but this is no ordinary TP. This thing still has 980 HP. And that is the game, ladies and gentlemen. Gideon, props to you, man. Rank 231, beating somebody whose alternate account is currently at rank, was it rank 6 or 7? It was either rank 6 or 7. I'll put it on the screen, but that is absolutely incredible. Let's look at this in more detail. Guys, follow me to the post game. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are in the post game. I have calmed down so that we can look at these stats and see just why this upset occurred. Because in the resources, Chef was way ahead, almost 12,000 here. But in the coin, this is where Gideon was really taking an advantage. Almost 14K compared to just under 5K for Chef. And all of that coin was coming in from trading posts, a factory, and just killing so many of Chef's units. And when we go to the military tab, we see 239 to 135, but most of those, over 150, were those very cheap, very dispensable crossbows. And I really want to see the military unit count. Look at these drops for Chef. Okay, this fight is pretty even. This fight goes horribly. This fight goes terribly. And this last fight is just absolutely atrocious. Goes from 50 to 14 in the span of a few seconds. And we could see as that coin economy continued to prosper, I mean, the number of outlaws on the map just grew and grew and grew to the point where even though they were fighting their counter, they just couldn't hold up. And then when you see the villager population, it starts to drop here, and I think it only would have gone down from there. But ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed that game. Gideon and Chef, if you watch this, no shade, but wow, Gideon, way to go. If you had gone with a standard meta build, I don't know if you would have pulled that off, but hats off to both players. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be back in a couple days with another game, but until then, have a great day. Have a great life. See you later.